All right, welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. We have all of our normal stuff, news, car debates. We've got some good, cool car conclusions we'll hopefully get to this time. Your questions, lots of stuff.
But the topic is so good.
The topic is
so
really great.
interesting.
Yes.
We're going to talk about cars that brands should bring back. It's a deep rabbit hole because we could go
We could go crazy.
all the fun stuff in the past.
We could.
So we're limiting ourselves to just one car from one manufacturer, whether it's a dead nameplate or whatever the car was.
Totally.
Even if they still make it, I kind of left myself, an open door.
But this springs out of the conversations we've had in the last few podcasts. This has come very organically out of the last few podcasts because the last couple of episodes, if you've seen them or heard them, we've talked about brands bringing back interesting cars, something between the super hypercar and the SUV. Where is the stuff in the middle? And then a lot of discussions have come up, be it Prelude, be it Z-Car, be it whatever. We've caught up those cars that are legendary nameplates, but we as enthusiasts want them to come back and be a certain thing. So you and I are going to kind of run the gauntlet here.
Bring them back.
Today is car makers A through M. I didn't cover all of them, but A through M, we're going to kind of each pick a car and go, okay, this nameplate should come back and be like this. It's very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be really good. But before we get there, we should do news, including people having problems getting out of their Model Y.
Switching over here to this is a 2025 Model Y, but for the 2021 Model Ys, 174,000 cars are being recalled, at least because parents can't get to their children. They're locked in the car because of these handles. So like we discussed last time, the light bars on the front of EVs kind of becoming a thing. Now recessed flush handles have also become a thing.
They are, yeah.
I mean, from an aerodynamic standpoint, designers and aerodynamicists like that. They like flush body sides, nothing protruding.
Yeah.
It makes for a better coefficient of drag. I do understand that, and it looks better. It's just a graphic, and then the handle appears, but you know what? We've also heard about handles that are icing up. Handles can't deploy.
True.
Because it's too cold, or the motor wears out, or it's something gets stuck, jammed. So the more stuff that we have on our cars, especially door handles, that you should be able to get in your car.
Well, but what you're speaking to here, and it's not just a Tesla problem, even though Teslas are being recalled for. These are solenoid handles. So when you do something, electronics are getting a signal, and the electronics are unlatching the door.
Yeah.
Now, you're required by regulations. You can see it in a Corvette C8.
Open by
God's
wire.
sakes. Yes, exactly, which is ridiculous.
Entry by wire.
But you can see you're required by law to have a mechanical backup to release the door from the inside. But what's interesting about this is that in some cases, what apparently is happening, and I have not seen an official report from an actual person it's happened to, but this is what we're hearing reported. Parents getting out of the car, closing their door, now not able to get back into the car. The child in the car can't get to or doesn't know where to get to the mechanical backup. So you're standing outside your car, and in some cases, parents have broken the windows. Now, it's not like, please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's happened to thousands of parents. This is like a handful of people, okay?
I'm seeing Teslas with shattered windows all over the place.
It's really weird. So it's a handful of people. So it's not like, but they were calling all of them to try to solve this. But I'm going to ask a weird question. What's wrong with doors? Can't they just be a mechanical thing? A knob, a latch, you pull it, and the lock moves. This has existed forever.
Is this in the same category as buttons, then?
To
buttons
some degree.
Coming back to the interiors, and design bosses, including Mercedes design boss, actually admitting buttons, they're better. And Volkswagen has tacitly approved buttons coming back to the interiors. Does this mean it's the sea change back to door handles?
Well, but I've joked before that apparently Elon Musk, somewhere in his past life, was somehow scarred by doors because he just keeps wanting to reinvent the door, so he never has to touch a door ever again.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's true.
I don't know what the problem is, but like you sit in the car and it closes the door, you turn off the car, or you stop the car and the door opens. He doesn't want to touch it. He doesn't want to have a handle. I don't understand what the problem was with I turned the knob or I pulled the latch and mechanics worked and the door opened or closed. I don't see why that was an issue. But I get the recessed thing. The recessed thing is cool if it works. Now, like on my Amira, that is still an actual handle.
In warm weather, it works.
You push on one end and the other side pops open. But yes, if you are a place that gets sheet ice, you're not getting in your car this morning. You're going to be out there with the kettle.
Your door handle got lake affected.
Yes, it did. That's terrible.
Like
anyway,
frozen shut.
We'll see where this goes. I mean, I don't think Tesla's alone on these door problems, but they're the ones that got recalled for it.
Yeah, for sure. There's more news that is a little bit personal for me, and it's in regards to Nissan, because they are restructuring, as you know. They're closing their design studios. Well, two of them at least This is design work done by Nissan Design fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's polarizing. It's a style. It's a choice. Let's say it's a choice. Well, this snowplow, new concept of
You're
the
being
GTR.
very kind.
Designed for gamers. It was designed, it does look like it belongs in a video game
Sure,
or a movie
yeah,
or something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And I understand that is the sentiment. But this actually was revealed in 2003, and you can already see that it looks a little tired and old. This style is already a little bit played out. And so even though I understand that Nissan is exploring new design language, I haven't seen any new, fresh designs. The Nissan Leaf has just come out, but that is a very safe play.
Super safe, yes.
They haven't really pushed on a new look for Nissan, a new corporate look, because as of the new CEO and finally we're restructuring, no, there's not going to be any partnerships. We're on our own and we've got to reset the bar and we need customers back. I haven't really seen too much from Nissan. Their CEO of design, Alfonso Albeza, we have invited many times to call into the show. We want Nissan to make him available because I think it'd be interesting to really understand of any design head. I would like to hear from Nissan. Just what do you got for us?
Where you headed? Yeah.
What's coming? There's so much enthusiasm for the Nissan brand.
True.
It's just dormant right now. But when you put out polarizing designs like this, it's hard to really get excited. And so the Nissan Design Studio in San Diego is actually one of the ones that is being closed. And I was there so many times as I worked for Autodesk because I was a subject matter expert in the automotive industry. And so I called on Nissan quite a bit, visited the San Diego studio. Many of my colleagues, I know a lot of people at the studio. It's a bummer because they'll lose their jobs or they're going to have to move. It's my understanding the Nissan's largest design studios in China and also others around the world are more prolific than the San Diego studio, which put a spotlight on them. It's also very specifically built for car design, meaning open courtyards to view cars on turntables in the light. It's got an entire color and materials library and separate section of the building. The middle of the building is beautiful and open. So my question is, somebody who buys that building, I think maybe a really cool restaurant, but it'd be way too big. It'd be like 4 or 5 restaurants or a boutique hotel, something like that. But the building doesn't lend itself necessarily because it's 1 story low and level. The whole thing says, go away, we don't want prying eyes. Unlike most hotel architecture, which is, look at our beautiful building. So I don't know what company would buy that because the entrance is hidden, it's small, it's designed to be secure, a secure design facility. So what do you do with this building? They've got to unload real estate now, and then people are losing their jobs, which is quite a bummer. But I want to see beautiful stuff coming from Nissan. It almost doesn't matter to me what's going on with the studios and what buildings are closing and opening and where the locations are, even though San Diego and the surf culture and the kind of cool, fun California culture should spawn great designs.
Yes.
I just don't see that reflected in these designs.
Well, these designs you're showing and this whole discussion takes a weird turn in my mind. And you're talking about design in California. And the reality is we notice this anytime we fly from Utah to California. California has very specific light. It's very pleasing light.
Yes.
And so, and different places in the world, like when we shoot in Utah, cars look differently in sunlight than they do shot in Southern California.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people that love to, cinematographers that love to shoot in the Middle East, because there's a specific light in the Middle East that you can't get elsewhere. So there is an interesting thing about California light and design. But the thing I think is interesting is this is on the backs of Nissan talking about firing, let's just be honest, as many as 20,000 employees. Now think about the scale of a company that can absorb firing 20,000 employees. Most of the companies in the world don't have 20,000 employees, and Nissan's thinking about cutting that many. So, of course, design has got to be on the chopping block as well. But the most interesting part of the article that you and I read about this was the comment that Nissan's design office in Shanghai is more productive than its counterparts around the world, producing designs with a 30 to 40% reduction in hours. What you've told me right there is we're doing it with AI. What you've told me is we are cranking out designs with AI with no people involved. We are just iterating tons and tons of options with AI for some executive to go, that's good enough. And these designs you've shown here on pictures, they all have kind of an AI iterative look about them. It doesn't feel like anybody sat down and went, I've got an idea. Let me actually be a human and design something. Yes, you can crank out a lot more designs if the computer is doing it for you, but you're never going to get something, I don't think, that just stops people in their tracks as like, that's gorgeous.
And there's all kinds of arguments and opinions with designers in any industry about using AI because of what it draws on. There's also using it as simply another tool, like a paintbrush, like a pencil.
Sure.
Of employing it as a tool, you're sending it off in a direction that you set and do iterations for me.
That's different.
But the biggest lesson I learned as a designer in my career from Richard Holbrook, and this was relating to furniture, is that most CEOs, when they hire an outside design firm, you hire the designer for their expertise.
Yeah.
And many CEOs, it's up to them to make the decision, and design managers to make the decision in any industry. Cars, furniture, doesn't matter. But many times they've hired the design team. Sometimes they don't know what they're looking at. And so they'll say, well, I like concept A, but I like a little bit from C, and that thing from B is cool. So could you add that plus that? And let's kind of make a mishmash, which is what AI is already doing. But Richard always said, I presented the CEO with one design. You've paid me as a professional to redesign the object that you want to meet a market price, to sell in volume, to increase your sales, to make money for you. Here it is.
Interesting.
You've hired me to design the thing. This is what I've done for you. After all of my research and expertise, this is what I think your solution is.
Interesting.
Instead of tons of iteration and a lot of managers, and everybody has an opinion. Well, I like a little bit of that, and I like a little bit of that, and that's kind of cool. Could we add that plus that? And
it happens like crazy,
in any industry. I'm sure that happens in writing when rewrites happen.
Of course. Everybody
I like
has,
a little bit of that part.
Of course.
Could we pull some of that in and mishmash? And well, that didn't make it better. It's just a bunch of opinions all together. So when it comes down to one person, I'm not seeing that in Nissan corporate design. I'm not seeing that. We haven't really seen bold new stuff from Nissan since these designs came out in 2023.
It'll be very interesting to see how all this plays out. It isn't a piece of good news, but I'm very curious to know where it goes for sure.
Maybe we need to shutter all these design studios just
let AI do it.
You're right. Just let AI do it.
That's really the answer. I mean, honestly, this podcast before long will just be you and I and AI, and we're done. Yeah, that's what we're going to do.
How do you know it's already not?
I mean, exactly true.
We're adding FCP Euro as our partners and supporters for both Everyday Driver and Hooked on Driving. For nearly 40 years, FCP Euro has been an industry-leading supplier of genuine, original equipment and OEM parts and performance upgrades for European cars.
That means BMW, Audi, Volkswagen, Mini, Mercedes, Volvo, Porsche, and even Saab. Paul, you have to call your brother-in-law and tell him FCP Euro is the place because, as I just said, even Saab. We're putting it in the ad. Anyway.
They offer a lifetime replacement guarantee on everything, including consumables like brake pads, wiper blades, and even oil filters. Buy a replacement, send back the old one, and receive a credit for the full amount.
For your Saab!
Plus, FCP Euro offers free economy shipping on orders over $49 and a 90-day hassle-free return policy for new, unused, and uninstalled parts.
So visit FCP Euro today for more than 300,000 parts ready to ship for your European car and your Saab. FCPEuro.com. We'll move on to our topic Tuesday. And again, this is cars that brands should bring back. And it's those cars that we as enthusiasts or we as people that have love for these nameplates would like to see return. And I'm on two sides of this equation.
Okay.
Because I'm trying on one level to be a little bit realistic. I'm aware of the fact that the super small volume internal combustion engine car made to be only one thing by one manufacturer, that's remarkably rare now. Cars are coming into existence because of collaboration. Cars are hybrid because there's emission standards. I'm aware of the fact that we can't just go, well, here's my perfect version from a world of 1990.
Sure.
Okay. There's not now. Some of mine are more pie in the sky and like it'd be awesome if they do this and they can't. And some of mine are more realistic. But I've got multiple hybrids in my dreaming. I've got multiple collaborations in my dreaming because I'm trying to think of how could this actually come into being on a lot of these, not just hey, it was cool, let's bring it back.
Bring the same thing back and just
it's not like
modernize it
I
a
want
little bit.
another Mark IV Super with a 2JZ.
Yeah, no.
Great. It's not happening.
Yeah,
it's
agreed.
not happening.
Agreed.
So I'm trying to be a little bit realistic, even though there's plenty of dreaming here. We are theoretically going alphabetical from A through M on this podcast, which means we'll do the rest of them on our next podcast. But we're not necessarily covering every brand. Did you do Acura? Because I did.
I did Acura, and I'm like you. I really tried to filter it. You've got a good idea about trying to come up with collaborations.
Mm-hmm.
I was just trying to think of the technology available or current cars that have a piece of technology that could be used to bring an old model back. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, it's got to go through the filter of what I think will sell. Mm-hmm. Car companies still obviously need to sell cars to make a profit, but cars are so emotional.
Yep.
They need to fit all of your needs, but enthusiast fun cars still have a lot of the emotional component to them that makes people buy them, even though it's not quite practical enough, or it's not quite good for the family or whatever. But it fills an emotional, fun to drive need that's still very much valid. But ultimately, it still has to come down to a company has to make money. If this were to come back, we can't just bring a car back just because.
Well, and also there has to be, how do we figure out the R&D? How do we figure out the building? That's where I see a lot of collaborations happening, because then we can just amortize out the cost and it's not hurting either one of us. I mean, that's something that happens as well. Look at that with the Z4 and the Supra, or Toyota's done this a lot, obviously, the GR86 and the BRZ. I mean, that's splitting cost, doubling product, and making it not hurt anybody as much, and then we get those cars.
My list is actually fairly long, but
mine is fairly long.
I'll
but
try to go real
I
fast.
skipped quite a few. Yeah, keep going.
All right, so let's start off with Acura. And I did choose the NSX, but solely for the reason of being a technology showcase. And manufacturers in the future will need to have vehicles where they're trying things, but they're so aspirational that the early adopters that want it will still justify sales.
Okay.
For tech showcase, for whatever Acura is going to do, for all-wheel drive, for hybrid technology, for something that still says sporty, fun to drive, but high-end luxury, I feel like the NSX at some level is still valid to exist.
Okay.
It's still going to be expensive. I also struggled with this because of the latency between the first and second generations, and what Acura did to tease everybody. Well, that prototype burned down by the side of the ring. That one didn't work. Oh, we had to change everything. And then 10 years later, after you talked about it, finally we get one. And I think the market had died before it even hit the market for the second generation.
The other problem is that people expected it to be, I don't know another way to put it, they expected it to be my Emira. They expected it to be roughly 3,000 pounds, rear-wheel drive, mid-engine, and manual transmission. And it came out much closer to the Porsche 918 for a tenth of the price than it did the original NSX, by being all-wheel drive and having hybrid tech and all of the things that it did that were incredible technology-wise. But we were so, and I'm in the group, we were focused on it being something that it wasn't. And I actually wonder about the NSX, because I have it on my list too. I actually wonder, we all look fondly on the original NSX.
Yeah.
But when it first dropped, it wasn't instantly embraced. There were those people that bought it. There was the Ayrton Senna stories and all that kind of stuff. But it was like, what is this now? And I think it took a little while, and certainly upon reflection now, for it to become an icon. Originally, it was like you bought a what? Acura's doing which? Why would you do that instead of a Ferrari?
And you would have to justify it because it's not quite the Ferrari. It's not Ferrari money, but it runs like a Honda Accord.
Exactly. The people that bought it were the outliers, and it wasn't instantly embraced.
Yeah.
I think we look at it as it was perfect in its time. It was great, but I think people warmed to it. And I actually think the second gen is having the same experience. I think in 5 or 10 years, when these have come down in price, I think we're going to look back on these second-gen NSXs with a lot more fondness than when they came out. And I would be fascinated to see, my pitch on the NSX is close to the Emira, meaning available with a manual.
Okay.
But I think it looks like a more modern R8. All-wheel drive, because that's an Acura thing.
Sure.
Honda's done it before, so we need to have hybrids with a manual. All-wheel drive, hybrid, manual. It is kind of what the second-gen NSX was with what the R8 is. And I think that as an NSX, especially with a manual, could be compelling to people. And that would, again, it'd probably be $150,000+ car, but that's the reality of where the NSX drops. But I think they have to come a little bit away from cutting edge technology. I think they have to back off a little and let some other brands be ahead of them, because I think that's what people want from the NSX more than what they got for the second gen.
A little bit more old school, a little bit more known quantity, I guess.
Yeah, but
old school
again,
is the wrong term.
If it was, but seriously, if they could crack all-wheel drive like the R8, but hybrid and manual,
nobody's really doing that.
That would be and
in a hypercar-ish.
Totally. And the general discussion is
car,
hybrids can't be manuals. But I point you right back to the Insight and the CRZ, both of which were Honda products, manual hybrids. So they've actually sold cars that way.
I'm with you 100% because I also still see this as Honda doesn't have necessarily a flagship, and this was also known as the Honda NSX.
Absolutely, yes.
And so for technology showcase, as we're trying things, we're not working out the bugs. Obviously, it's got to be sold with a warranty,
Hopefully, yes.
They're trying to do the trickle-down effect to other cars, whether it's an SUV, whether it's a truck, whatever that is, and use this as sort of the tip of the spear, much like what I had heard from Polestar, that I had such high hopes for Polestar. They've gone full EV, and I think they're actually really good and an excellent Tesla competitor.
Yeah.
I just still saw them as a higher end rather than more of a something for everyone kind of brand, because it was described to me as tip of the spear for technology. And the very, very first Polestar 1 was $150,000. And I saw it going in that direction, and I embraced that. That's where I see this kind of fitting in as well. But I do take your point. It still has to sell, and enthusiasts want to buy them.
That's where the legacy is of the brand, for sure, yeah.
All right, moving on to Aston Martin quickly. And
good for you.
Aston Martin is doing quite well.
They are.
I think they are offering excellent cars for what the Aston brand should be.
Okay.
But what I do like is the DB5, and that does harken back to the continuation cars that they're currently building, but I think this is a 63 model shown on screen here. It's a beautiful shade of blue that I haven't seen.
Gorgeous.
Every time I see a DB5,
like
it's always
it's
silver.
It's always Bond silver, yeah.
So I like the DB5, but something maybe not quite as on edge or as powerful as the Vantage has become, but a little bit more of a softer GT, something that is just, an enjoyable, fun cruiser.
Are you envisioning a down market from the Vantage as well?
And a down market
kind
of place. And I just use this as simply for styling purposes, just a classic, beautiful Aston shape, kind of the Vantage, Vantage Light or something like that.
Yeah.
Bring back the DB. Everything is V word these days, but bring back the DB as a lower market kind of thing, more accessible, and leave the Valkyries and the Valhallas to the crazy.
Somebody has just a V, one of those V encyclopedias on their desk at Aston, and just goes, "What word have we used?"
For Audi, moving on here, and this is the 2010 Audi Quattro concept showing on screen. It's in white, and I got really excited when we saw this at the LA Auto Show back in 2010, if you can believe it's been that long.
Wow, it is amazing.
It's the Audi Quattro. Just bring back the Quattro and call it the Quattro, and that's it, and put all your mojo into this. Doesn't have to be the TT. This can be 50, 60,000, somewhere in there. Again, good technology showcase. It's not the flagship, but it's just something accessible. I was so excited. I love the styling. It doesn't quite look outdated yet, but Audi has moved on from this visual design language at this point. But I thought this was superb. I had high hopes. It even looked somewhat production ready. And no, they never built the Quattro. So I would highly choose Quattro for this one. I still really love the design language. It really suits the name Quattro and what we associate it with Group B rally.
I see that.
Moving on to BMW for me, and I've got an interesting idea for you.
Okay.
I'm showing a Z8 on screen.
Okay.
That's because I want more GT cars in the market. This might be a personal thing that might not sell too well, but BMWs are known for building cars that are built in small quantities.
Well, and then they make a hyper niche of that. It'll be like they'll make a GT car, then they make a GT car with a one-seater because 5 people want to buy them. I don't know what's up.
So my idea for bringing the Z4 back, because I really like the Neue Class design language that we're starting to see with all the iXs, and that's going to go across all EVs and gas-powered cars from BMW. If that were combined with the new M5 hybrid V8 powertrain.
Interesting, okay.
Now, I want to keep the Z8 small. The M5 is a large car, and it's a big V8 with a large battery and a lot of hybrid stuff in it.
Sure,
and I'm not saying make it all-wheel drive, make it rear-wheel drive. BMW might build a new Z8 that doesn't have actually room for humans in it. So they might be able to pull it off. It's a small car. We did it.
It's entirely remote. Yes.
You can't drive it, but we did it.
Look at us. Yay.
But that's my idea. If
Got
BMW could pull this off with this amount of power in a new Z8 small form factor, rear-wheel drive only, this 717 horsepower hybrid V8 powertrain twin turbo in a new Z8, I think that would be very highly sought after in the market. Moving on to Chevrolet, and I know this is not a sports car. I'm showing the K5 Blazer on screen. This particular build was done by Ring Brothers. It is called the Bully, and it is an incredible example. I mean, they've gone overboard with this, as Ring Brothers does. But my idea for the Chevy K5 Blazer, let's bring that back in all of its boxy goodness.
Sure.
Ford's had to go.
Yep.
Ram's been doing it.
For sure.
Everybody's been doing the boxy thing. Bring that back.
Scout's coming back.
Yes, Scout.
I mean, come on.
The Blazer, it needs more respect behind the name, because just another SUV these days, gas or EV, it just doesn't do the Blazer name justice.
I agree with you. You've thought this for a while, and I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Corvette has the ZR1X.
Yeah.
That engine.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Inside.
Okay.
A new boxy Blazer.
Wow. All right.
To take it to the Raptor R.
Yeah, for sure.
And the TRX.
Yeah.
Anything.
And the Bronco R too. Yeah.
Yeah. The Bronco R. All of that.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's too far. Maybe that's too much power. We could back it off to some of their crate motors. So how about the LT4, which is the Camaro ZL1, I believe, engine, the LT4 engine that is also in the Cadillac Blackwing CT5V. Let's do, that's still 660 plus horsepower.
It'd be enough to off-road with,
The car would move under its own power with that engine. So let's drop the LT4 Cadillac Blackwing engine in this. Make an awesome, boxy, new, cool Blazer. Maybe just, you don't even have to call it the K5 Blazer, because Kia will get upset and send you a nasty letter because of the K5.
But they could just call it the Blazer, because they have that. They've just watered it down and made it an SUV.
Easier.
Yeah.
This is, in my opinion, still an enthusiast vehicle. It's just off-road fun, but they've got incredible powertrains, incredible engines, crate motors. Pick a crate motor and drop it in this thing. I don't care. But what if it had the ultimate? Then Chevy would be on top. The ZR1X engine is in the Blazer.
Sure.
Minds would melt.
Even the Z06 flat plane in that thing would be amazing. Can you imagine the sound of that coming out of a Blazer? It'd be like when they did the LM002 for Lamborghini, where it's like, why does that sound that way? And it's a truck.
Yes.
That kind of thing. I get it. I love it.
This is my idea, my goals for Chevy. And moving on to Dodge, you are all going to laugh at me because I am showing the 1984 Dodge Daytona Turbo Z on screen. But it's actually the Matchbox.
You're showing the Matchbox version, yes.
The reason is because the Matchbox looked better than the actual car.
Well, you know.
When the model looks better than the real thing,
they've done it well.
You've got a problem.
Yeah.
But this car left such an impression on me because I got a ride from a family friend who got his new Dodge Daytona Turbo, and I didn't know what turbos were.
Sure.
And my mind was blown when the turbos kicked in, even though it was like
love it.
Still 110 horsepower or something anemic and weak. I'm not saying the Charger Daytona, nothing. It's just Dodge Daytona. And by doing this, they can lean on a smaller form factor. They can use a smaller engine. It's not the Charger and Challenger, big bloated, whatever they've become. It's just the Dodge Daytona, an enthusiast, fun sports car. Even kind of looks like a 928 a little bit, but doesn't have to be GT car, but something cool, fun, lightweight, turbocharged from Dodge. And then they still have the bloated Charger, Challenger, whatever they're going to do.
It's a good challenge for them, for sure. I like it.
So this is the Matchbox version of that. Moving on to Ferrari, I am touching briefly on the 246 Dino. This car is simple and light.
Oh, yeah.
And that would allow them to drop a non-hybrid V6 with manual and make it accessible to enthusiasts. This would still be a 200,000 plus Ferrari, but this would be the full entry-level, lightweight, small, the tiny, and truly call it the Dino.
Yeah, what if they could do it at like 150 grand start?
That's interesting.
And you know at Ferrari, that means the minute you put anything on it, it'd be 200 grand. But 150 grand start would be really compelling.
V6 turbo, still have a lot of power, manual transmission,
for sure.
beautiful, clean styling, lightweight, interesting, That's how you make Ferraris lighter. I thought the 296 GTS and GTB were going to be the Dino. Everybody talked about the second coming of the Dino, and it wasn't. Bring the actual, call it the Dino.
Yeah, okay.
It's a cool car.
Yep.
All right, moving on to Honda. Yes, S2000. This is the 2008, I believe, CR version that you're seeing on screen in a lovely shade of yellow. Yes, these are cool. Yes, Honda needs to bring it back. It's got to be a sports car. Honda is really good at doing this. They're good at hybrids.
Yeah.
They've got some technology, but it's not like they're Toyota and they're known for, wow, we've really got our Prius equivalent. I suppose the CRZ, hypermile cars. They've got
but
good
the
high
CRZ
mileage.
and the Insight were both, I have to hit it again, they were hybrids with manuals. It's doable.
Yeah,
it
it's
exists.
doable. They could do something like we talked about. This is the next step up from Prelude. I don't care what you call it anymore, but something Roadster, rear-wheel drive.
Yep.
It's got to be this. And the Hyundai Veloster N I've got on screen, even though that was recently discontinued, I feel like this still had legs in the marketplace.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like people were just beginning to discover it, and Hyundai whacked it off at the knees. Chopped it, done, we're good. Add the door, so it's now 4 doors. So people are like, it's only 3? I don't get it. Make it 4. Make it so people can accept it and relate to it, and make it a little bit more wagony, just slightly, not too much bigger, but just
all right.
People are kind of wanting wagons. Many people have written into the show. They're wanting wagons. They want kind of some more wagon hatchish, another option in there.
I love hatchish because we do it a lot.
Something in there.
I'm with you, yeah.
The Veloster, it's a cool, fun, quirky name.
It is. Yeah,
whatever you do, quirky, I don't care. But continue on with the Veloster. And moving quickly to Infinity. This is the Project 9 here that I'm showing on screen. It looks like an old Indy car.
Yeah,
it looks like an open wheel Indy car from back in the 30s.
Yep.
And I thought this was the most compelling design that I've ever seen from Infinity, because I don't want actually anything from Infinity to come back except for this concept that they explored. But if they did this car, that would set Infinity apart as a boutique manufacturer, also maybe a technology showcase for Nissan. That would set the brand apart and make people want to buy these that aren't the supercar hybrid or just crazy hypercar kind of stuff. The Bugattis and the Koenigsegg's, that exists, but this is interesting. A single seat, beautiful styling, open wheel car.
The Infinity Caterham. I don't know.
On a luxury high end with lots of power level.
Yeah, okay.
That sounds compelling.
Okay, all right.
And moving on to Jaguar. The one that I actually really like is the XKSS. And I'm showing a 2017 continuation car. This is the SS, as you know, was the roadster or the road-going version of the Type D-type race car.
And those are worth so much money.
So much. So they've got a few of these, handful of these continuation cars, which I thought are superbly beautiful, lightweight, fun. Doesn't have to be too expensive. Jaguar is kind of wanting to be in more the luxury, high-end level. That's not what I'm saying here.
Whatever it is like they're doing over there, Jaguar,
Nobody's sure. Nobody can explain it.
We're all very confused.
So XKSS needs to return lightweight, mid-engine, beautiful, something like that. I mean, this is pretty much front mid-engine here, but yeah, something really intriguing, compelling. I would love to see the XKSS.
That would be very cool.
Jeep, you're doing great. Keep making the Wrangler. We're good.
Everybody just thinks Wrangler. We're moving on. That's very good.
You'll notice that I'm going straight to Lamborghini because Lincoln, there's nothing to see here.
There's nothing to see there, sadly, yes.
So Lamborghini, if you brought the Miura back, only.
Okay. All right.
I'm showing, this is the SV here from 71, and this is the 68 P400. Pretty car. This would revolutionize Lamborghini's styling for the better, I think, if they used this as visual reference and then brought it into the modern age with maybe a fewer creases, of less openings.
Possibly, yes. Yep.
Would be interesting, compelling. If you could figure out how to turn that V12 sideways like this, I would welcome that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. But engine behind you, a V8 behind you, bring the Miura name back. I think that would do well for Lamborghini, and people line up.
Like it.
Okay. That car. Lotus I touched on briefly because there's many models that we could say bring back. Lotus has been doing great, in my opinion, for the lineup of cars through history, the fun, lightweight sports cars.
They've had, they've stumbled along and made great cars in spite of it. Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true.
You're right.
That's the case now as well, unfortunately.
The 340R from the year 2000, though, intrigues the daylights out of me.
Interesting. Okay.
No doors. F1 inspired rear wing, and the wheels, they have little tiny fenders, little cycle fenders, but they're exterior. They're not part of the fender flares.
It's almost like the Lotus Ariel Atom.
It really is.
Yeah.
This intrigued me. Why can't we do more of these? Probably because safety or something.
Possibly, yeah.
Whatever. Moving on quickly to Maserati.
You covered Maserati. Look at you. I love it. Of course you did. Good.
Maserati needs to bring back the Bora that is shown on screen here, or the Merak. They were very similar. They did share some components, is my understanding, but I love the form factor of these. And man,
it's like a hatchback supercar kind of thing.
Yeah, it really is. I think that could be Maserati's sweet spot here.
Okay.
So the Merak or the Bora or something in there, and use that Nettuno V6 again.
That engine's pretty cool.
We've got the MC20. The styling, what this could evoke could be really interesting. Make it even smaller. You see a theme, smaller. Everything we need to do from here on out. RX-7 with a non-rotary. We've got a nice inline six from Mazda now.
Yes, we do.
Hello, new.
Yep.
As cool as rotaries are, I think that would prevent people from buying the car.
In some cases, yes.
But if it were the new inline six or a hybrid of some sort, make the RX-7 again, that long hood, it's like a 3/4 sized car.
Yeah.
It's superb to drive. And then finally, McLaren, you're good. You're doing good. Maybe the F1, but you're doing good. You've got so much choice, and
they're doing all right. Yeah,
you're doing good. So
McLaren's, they'll be fine.
What else do we do?
I'm not worried about McLaren.
F1, I guess. Bring the F1 back, but maybe, but you don't need to because you're doing good.
They're doing okay. That's very funny. I like it.
And then Mercedes, very quickly, the C111-2 concept from the year 1970. They've got gull-wing doors in a mid-engine car. I thought, could we explore this? Maybe there's a business case, but if there's not, a small, fun, lightweight roadster from Mercedes, make cool, fun things from Mercedes.
Bring the SLK back, yeah.
That's light because Mercedes-Benzes have gotten really heavy.
They're heavy, very heavy, yes.
Finally, Mini R53. This is a 2004 that I'm showing on screen. I love the Mini.
Yeah.
This is the size. I care what it looks like, but this is the size you need to make. They've gotten bloated.
They've all just gotten big.
Too big.
The Minis are now max. Yes, for sure.
R53 is the size. I love the styling on this. I'm not saying make this forever, but bring the size back. Make it mini again.
I think at this point they are still trading on that styling and the all of the goodwill that was created by it. They're kind of on the back end of that, I feel like. Anyway.
Like, where do we go from here?
Yes.
I'm showing you.
Here's where we go. Yes.
And finally, Mitsubishi Evo 10. You've got so much room to run with bringing the Mitsubishi brand back. The Outlanders and I don't even know what they are anymore. They're just nameless, faceless. Well, they look like anything and nothing.
Yes. The Eclipse has wound up back on some of their stuff with the Eclipse Cross. Mitsubishi is lost in the wilderness. It is so bizarre. Yeah, I hear you.
Since you're listening to us, you'll end up shopping for your next car very soon. And when you do, you need Autotempest.com.
Any car, anywhere, at any price, Autotempest searches all the major car listing sites on the web, local or nationwide. And Autotempest has recently added price history for every car listed, so you can see how prices are trending and know if you found a good deal. You can also create search alerts and lists of saved searches so you can find your perfect spec even easier next time.
Search on any device, in your browser, or as an app for Apple iOS and Android. New, used, or unexpected, Autotempest is how we search for cars. Go to Autotempest.com/everyday so they know we sent you. Autotempest. All the cars. One search.
That was a great list. We might not get through everything on our list, on our whole intention here. We might not do car conclusions again because this is really cool. I like this. I've covered some of the ones you covered, but what I'm pleased about is I covered some brands differently than you did, and some other brands you covered I didn't even cover. So I'm excited to go through this. So here we go. Let's see. I'm going to start, of course, same place you started, the Acura NSX. Okay. Nobody's surprised, but yes. Okay, so I have the old one and the new one back to back here on screen.
I like that you're showing them both.
They're gorgeous cars. They are gorgeous cars. I still love the original so very much. People needed the second one to be the Emira, and it isn't. But I really feel like people are going to start coming around on this second gen. I think it's headed that way.
Okay.
The other thing that was funny about making these lists is I started to think up cars I wanted them to bring back, and I started to be like, what would a modern version of that be? And so I would look up the old versions of some of these cars, and the next one I'm coming to, Alfa Romeo, is this way. I'd look up the old version of a car and realize that somebody's already in AI created what I was thinking. I'm not saying it's right, but in some cases, these old marks Somebody has thrown it at AI and made a new variation, and I want to go to the Alfa Romeo Spider, which should come back.
No
Somebody
way.
has made an AI version of the Alfa Romeo Spider essentially on the ND Miata.
Of course.
And this is exactly what Alfa should do. They should partner with Mazda. They should have, I mean, I realize Fiat did it with the 124.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking the same kind of thing, but it's now a Mazda Miata, and then above it, because the other thing is the Fiat 124 was kind of stepping on the Mazda as far as price was concerned and that kind of stuff. This needs to be $5,000 to $10,000 above the Miata. It needs to have Alfa Romeo styling, and it needs to have an Alfa Romeo interior. But in its core, it's the next gen Mazda Miata, the Mazda MX-5, the next gen, whatever the NDE, the fifth generation is going to be. There should be an Alfa Spider version of that.
Since many people use the Miata RF or MX-5 RF or any MX-5 as the GT car, would this need to grow in size maybe 10%, 20% to be slightly larger, slightly more powerful, and therefore a bit more luxurious and a higher price point as well?
Here's the thing.
Instead of keeping it so small.
The reality is it has to be something they can build side by side on the same assembly line. That's the problem. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense from a profit sharing, effort sharing thing.
Money making.
But the reality is, as much as I don't want the Mazda to get bigger, and I really genuinely don't, the passenger space in the current one is poor.
It is.
And I do mean passenger, not driver. So
Yes.
I kind of feel like there has to be some new thinking on packaging anyway, but it still needs to be mid 2,000 pounds. It still needs to be small. It can't be a big car. So, but the Alfa Romeo Spider is a historic name. Let's get Alfa Romeo styling on a Miata.
If it gave a Boxster a run for its money in the marketplace, that's interesting.
Yeah. And, again, 10 grand, it's a 10 grand delta between buying the MX-5 and buying the Spider, and make it accordingly up market like that. That's the other one I thought of. In Audi world, I found a purpose for the new EV Cayman. You remember when Audi was making what became the Porsche 924, and then Audi scrapped the project and it became a Porsche. This is going the other way. Porsche doesn't know what to do with the market, with their potential EV Cayman. This is your new Audi TT. EV, try to keep it as close to 3,000 pounds as possible, all-wheel drive EV, change the styling to be more Audi, make it the brand new TT with a cool interior, because the TT name is storied. People like it. It's a Cayman alternative anyway. But anytime, and including on this podcast, when the TT goes up against the Cayman, we pick Cayman because it's more dynamic. Let the TT be its own thing. This is where your electric efforts for the Cayman go. It's an Audi TT now.
Although that Concept C that we just covered a couple podcasts ago, that I think
it's
is slated to be on top of this platform. Or
who knows? It's trying to be like a combination TT R8. We don't know.
But that strikes me as a larger vehicle.
I think so too. I think that the TT needs to be smaller and more accessible. And there's an opportunity here for Audi to have that as a kind of standalone outlier on their lineup. And you build it on the back of the Cayman EV. And then the Cayman can be other things.
I like that.
That's on my brain.
I like that.
Moving on, I'm going to BMW, and BMW needs to bring back the 1 Series. The 1 Series, I'm actually showing the 2-door hatchback we didn't get in the U.S. And I'm not, look, the 1 Series right now in 2025 still exists, but it's the mini chassis. It's front-wheel drive architecture. I'm talking about a generation plus back, the one we didn't even get in the U.S. in the mid-2010s. This is a 2015 I have that I'm showing right now in a great blue. This was a rear-wheel drive 2-door hatchback. No one else on the planet's going to do that. And 2-door hatchbacks are awesome. Now, I don't know...
BMW can justify it somehow.
Seriously. I don't know what business case / regulations exist, because I feel like we've watched over the last 15 years, pretty much every dedicated 2-door hatchback has died. I think the Mini might be the only one left. Okay? So it's not a common thing. But what I'd really like BMW to do is, BMW, they are the king of parts cars.
Love it.
Take a small 4-cylinder, shoot for 3,000 pounds on this tops, make it rear-wheel drive, hatchback, 2-door, maybe 4-door, but hopefully 2-door, and available with a manual. This is your new entry-level car. BMW has the history and the know-how to do this at a level nobody else can. Don't even need to go above a 4-cylinder. Just make it the 4-cylinder. It's going to have roughly 300 horsepower anyway.
It was a B48. Drop that out of the Supra.
Right
Drop
there.
that in.
Yes. So this is what BMW needs. They need a bottom-of-the-market little hatchback that says, this is what BMW does. And the 1 Series is waiting to be that. And it shouldn't be another front-wheel drive, almost SUV variant of the Mini. It needs to be rear-wheel drive, manual driver's car, hopefully 2-door hatch. That's for BMW. Moving on to Cadillac, who really ought to bring back the XLR.
You think so?
I think they do. When Chevrolet does the next Corvette, the C9.
Crazy.
Yes, when they do that,
crazy.
Cadillac needs a variant of the C9 that is aiming directly at the LC500 crowd. A little bit of a price bump, leaning toward luxury. You can't get a track variant. It's not what we're doing anymore. It's the Cadillac. It's the XLR. Yeah. It comes in convertible, because these did. It comes in convertible. It's based on the C9 architecture. I'm leaning forward to the next Corvette. Comes in the C9 architecture. It's automatic only. Maybe it's even all-wheel drive. But this is a luxury variant of the Corvette, and it is leaning fully toward being a luxury variant. It is trying to be the Lexus Corvette. So there's no high performance. It'll be plenty high performance because it's going to be based on the base C9, which will be powerful and drive well and have MagnaRide.
Of course, yes.
So let the Corvette lean into being hardcore. And also, I think there's a possibility here of possibly freeing up the architecture. If you really want the golf bags, Cadillac. If you don't need the golf bags, Corvette.
I like that a lot.
But I think there's an opportunity here for let's actually make, under those two brands that they have, the car for the people that want it.
That's okay. So you're making a case here.
XLR,
you're making a case and make it really high-end luxury.
Yes,
very
absolutely.
Luxurious.
Yes, a
Corvette.
very classy car.
Yeah,
absolutely, with a Cadillac badge on it. The XLR was essentially the C6 Corvette, rebodied, convertible, made under Cadillac, very boxy styling. There's one that actually drives around my neighborhood every now and then. I see it and I go, oh my gosh, there it is. Oh my gosh, there it is.
I think the styling was the Achilles heel on this.
Well, and I
never fell in love with it. It was their thing at the time.
Yes, it was their very when we had
Arc and Line,
remember the
whatever
super boxy Escalade. It's that same era.
Yeah,
it's that same era where everything was just they only had rulers at Cadillac. So anyway, so the XLR would be very, very cool. I think that should come back. Moving on to Chevrolet, who needs to bring back the Solstice. I know it was a Pontiac, but the Solstice. And here's why. Take that name. They already have that name. That name means small sports car from GM.
It's a good name.
It's a great name. Sell it underneath Chevrolet. And here's what you do. I'm showing a Solstice Coupe on screen right now. But
I've never seen one of these in person.
I haven't either. I've only seen one at like an auto show, and they're very cool.
Wow.
Part of me, this is like the weird, the only part of me that has any kind of collector car interest wants a Solstice
Coming
Coupe.
soon to an auction near you.
Wants a Solstice Coupe. They're not worth buying. But anyway, here's the reason I brought it up. This was Bob Lutz and GM attempting to make a Miata competitor. And for first blush, they got pretty close.
Yeah.
They got pretty close. It's not great, but it was surprisingly good. They sold very few of the coupes. The coupes were all Targa removable top. The turbo version of this was like 250 horsepower and torque. Drove pretty well. The base models drove pretty well. Here's what I'm thinking. This is the car you position below the Corvette for the people that still like the Corvette. This needs to be 80% the size of the C7. Roughly the size of a GR86. Roughly. Maybe actually because it's GM, probably a little bit bigger than the GR86, but not by much.
Almost like supersized?
Somewhere in that area.
Supersized it.
Somewhere in that area. It's very funny. But it needs to have the same Targa roof as you see on the Solstice Coupe or the C7 Corvette. So Targa roof, and it needs to have a turbo 4-cylinder in it. It needs roughly 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
Come in at about $40,000. Call it a Solstice. Make it available with a manual and an automatic. Doesn't even need a DCT. Like manual and automatic. You're competing with the GR86, maybe just below the Super, right in that area. Like $40,000 is the target here. This is an 80% scale C7. Take the C7 design and thinking, bring it forward in design, make it 80% scale, 4-cylinder, $40,000, call it the Solstice. Hello, GM. Come on, Chevy. because that's the car. Below the Corvette, what do you have? Nothing. The Camaro's gone and was getting too big and was always a 2+2 muscle car anyway. There's a sports car opportunity here from Chevrolet. It's a parts bin idea. They've got 2.5s and 2.7 turbos that are running 300 horsepower that they put in other cars.
Well, what I like the most about this is because this would have to be its own platform. And cars that we love to drive the most are their own platform.
And I don't know how you amortize that and make it make sense, but I think there's an opportunity below the Corvette at GM. And I'm thinking the Camaro is so connected to muscle cars, even though it'll probably be resurrected as an SUV, but it's so connected to muscle cars. The Solstice is a small, lightweight, fun car, sports car, Solstice for Chevrolet, for GM. Ford.
Oh, Ford.
Folks at Ford. The Fiesta ST was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was great. The Fiesta, here's the thing, the Fiesta it was based on was even okay. Wasn't great, but it was okay. It had a weird transmission in the automatic. That's a separate thing.
Whatever.
We didn't get the second-gen Fiesta ST, and everyone I know that I trust as a journalist in Europe that drove it said it was better than the one we got.
And
the one we got was brilliant.
Yes.
Okay? Ford, like GM, they don't sell cars anymore. They certainly don't sell entry-level cars. And the problem with the Fiesta, when it was out prior, the one we got here, is that the interior was very cheap. But I'm thinking about the current, I know this is weird, but I'm thinking about the current Nissan Sentra, which we drove recently. That car was surprisingly inexpensive and didn't feel cheap inside. My theory here is that you can actually, at the low $20,000 thing, if you do it right, you can do a low $20,000 entry-level car that no longer feels cheap. It feels inexpensive. You didn't get luxury, but it doesn't feel like Army Man plastic cheap, which was the problem with the Fiesta ST. It was just Army Man plastic everywhere and the worst quality piano black over the stereo. But it drove so great.
Yeah.
So what's the version of the Fiesta that Ford could come out with that's just in the low 20,000s, like the bottom of the car market? And then the Fiesta ST is just under 30.
Yes.
Turbo goodness.
Yes.
They have proven they know how to do it and to kill it. I cannot believe the Fiesta ST no longer exists. Ford Fiesta ST is the play. It needs to come back. Here's the thing. I don't want to Focus. I don't want to Focus RS. I don't care about other variants of the Mustang. Let's make the good variants of the Mustang, and below that, Fiesta ST, and we're done.
I mean, I think the Mustang needs to be completely rethought from here on out for the rest of time.
That's a whole topic Tuesday of its own.
GTD, cool. Want to drive it.
Whole topic Tuesday of its own. Yes, I hear you.
I love this idea.
Moving on, Honda S2000.
Yes.
You mentioned it already. What is the new S2000? Just Honda, what is it? Is it the S3000, the S2200? I don't care what you call it.
Surely they're working on something.
You would like to think so, wouldn't you? I mean, here's the other thing I think is happening. The blowback on the Prelude, the discussions that happen around the current Civic Type R, which is brilliant, the current Civic Si, which is very good. I feel like all the enthusiasts are hoping and buying around the S2000, hoping at some point there'll be an S2000 they can actually buy. We're all hoping for this for Honda, so that we both.
I know there's a lot of enthusiasts that work for Honda, a ton.
Yes, for sure.
Like pretty much everybody who works there is an enthusiast.
What
and probably
is
wants
the new
this car
S2000? Here's the thing: this could be, and I'm going to hit it again because Honda's done it before. This could be GR86 sized, whether it's convertible or not. GR86 size, you could make it 2+2. This could be hybrid manual again.
Yes,
I think Honda could do a hybrid manual S3000. And it would work. The thing they can't do is offer it without a manual, because this is one of the cars that is the most iconic cars for having a manual transmission. But I think they could totally get away with hybrid tech, manual transmission, S3000. It's a little bit heavier. It's low 3,000 pounds. It's the size of a GR86. And I think that would be lauded, and people would snatch them up. And here's the thing. The S2000 introduced the start button to the masses. Can we introduce a key again with the new one? Ooh. Just straight back to a key in the ignition. Anyway, sorry, I'm dreaming now. But anyway.
Daring of you.
Yeah, the Honda now has a key. Moving on.
Wow.
Follow me. The Hyundai Tiburon. It was a front-wheel drive, questionable styling, 2-generation first blush at a sports car from Hyundai. But hear me out.
Okay.
This is where Hyundai does a GR86 competitor.
Okay.
Make a rear-wheel drive. Because the only one they had was the Genesis Coupe, which is the worst name ever. It's just brand name Coupe. Okay?
They had a phase.
They had a phase.
They went through a phase.
They were trying to get Genesis off the ground.
Yeah.
But Tiburon, you remember the commercials? Tiburon, the name means shark.
Yeah.
Okay? It was kind of a goofy commercial. They actually
now that you mention it,
they
yes.
actually dragged the shell of a first-generation Tiburon behind a boat and had it come up Jaws style behind the boat, and it was Tiburon, the name means shark. Ambitious, but terrible. Okay?
Marketing people, we've got some money to spend.
But the point I'm making here is that's a cool name. It's a cool idea for a name for a car. For a sports car, it's named Shark. That's cool.
Okay. All right.
Let's make a rear wheel. They have rear wheel drive experience doing the Genesis brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do a rear wheel drive GR86 competitor from Hyundai and call it the Tiburon. And absolutely, like the mood board is just GR86s. Just that's your target. Doesn't need to be convertible. It's a small 2+2. They've got their 2.5 liter engine with 300 horsepower.
Yes. That's in the
There's your engine.
70. You're talking?
Yes.
2.5.
It's all the same related platform stuff. We're all talking about the same
It's a
brand.
powerful engine.
Yes. My point is, Hyundai Genesis are related already anyway. So let's make the Hyundai Tiburon. And then what you can do, now that I'm here, I jump back in the alphabet to Genesis. You make a more luxurious version and you call it the G50. You start here at 30,000 to 40,000, and you make the Tiburon over at Hyundai, and then you make the slightly more luxurious version, the Lexified version for Genesis, and you call it the G50. It's a 2+2, not a four-door, four-seat.
Well, see, the SUVs are GV, the sedans are G.
Yes.
So
Sorry.
maybe the GC for the coupe or something.
Well, but it could just be the
new,
G70.
a whole new line.
Well, maybe, but it could just be the G70 because that suggests car versus truck. So the G50 would be below the G70.
G70 coupe. We're back to Genesis.
Stop. No coupes. No coupes. Anyway, this is where I'm going.
Okay,
so there's my,
you're selling
my
me.
strange Hyundai thinking.
No, it's
As
good.
I move on, Infiniti, where is your G37? I know after the G37 it became the Q, whatever. No, nobody cares. Nobody remembers the Q lineup of Infiniti.
Don't shut the design studios. Make the Infiniti version of the new Z.
The reality is this helped justify the 350Z. From a parts perspective, from amortization of the budget, this helped justify it. And it was the luxury alt. And in some cases, some years, I got to be honest, I vacillated. Some years I was like, the 350Z is really cool. Other years I was like, you know what? I'd rather have a G37 or a G35. Use what you've built on the base Nissan Z, which means you can have 400 horsepower, that great engine, manual transmission or automatic, but now a 2+2 Infiniti-styled body, and go backwards and call it the G35 or G37. This is what people know it to be. Call it the G40, since it's now a different engine with 400 horsepower.
But that's Genesis, G50.
And that was G50. I'm cutting it tight here. But my point is, Infiniti, people know your good sedans and coupe as being the G something.
Yeah.
So we go backwards, new G37, based on the current Nissan Z. This should come back. And I think they have the brand equity. I think people would welcome it. Rear wheel drive, good looking, luxury 2+2. That nobody makes that in the mid $50,000 range. It just doesn't exist anymore. There was this and the Lexus RC, and they both just vanished. Okay, so Infiniti G37 exists. I'm going to go someplace crazy for Lexus. I'm showing a GR86 on screen.
What?
Follow me for a second.
What?
I'm showing the GR86, but I'm going to go two places at once because after Lexus comes Lotus, so follow me.
Okay.
For the next gen GR86, we have the current gen.
Yeah.
Theoretically, based on what we understand, there will probably be a next gen. We don't know when, we don't know what. But,
I'm ready to drive it already.
But Toyota we believe there'll be a next gen.
Yeah.
Okay? The GR86 has been well refined in this second gen. Under 3,000 horsepower rear-wheel drive chassis. Here's what you do with the next-gen Toyota. Maybe, if it gets bigger, it gets tiny bit bigger, like fractionally bigger, because it still has to be under 3,000 pounds.
Yeah.
You make the 2+2 GR86 next-gen, but you build the chassis in such a way that you can make a four-door version that is now sold as the base Lexus. And your target for the Lexus is essentially making a modern version of the BMW E36, because it's going to be roughly that size, roughly 2,900 to 3,000 pounds, small rear-wheel drive biased four-door. It's a four-door, You make Lexus styling on it. It's based on the same chassis as the new GR86. It's a 4-door. But here's what you do. You have that 4-door, means a small back seats, but it still now is the car that people ask us about almost every podcast. Essentially, they say, I'd like a GR86, but I'd like 4 seats and 4 doors.
Or sometimes a 4-door Miata. What is a 4-door Miata?
Yes.
It could
doesn't
be
exist.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the market. A GR86 chassis, if thought about from the beginning, you have the Lexus 4-door version and you have the GR86. Now it relates because you help this get made by getting handling help and chassis help from Lotus, who now sells a 4-door version with Lotus badging and Lotus tweak styling over at Lotus. And they have a new 4-door rear-wheel drive Lotus product as well. Because the Lotus customer, you can sell one that is tuned closer to the handling first aesthetic of the GR86, but is 4-door. At Lotus, it's going to be $20,000 more than the GR86, so it won't bother that market. But the Lexus one is the softer suspension one. So the softer suspension buyers go to Lexus. The people that want reliability, was built with Lexus, but also want more focused handling, go buy the Lotus product. And those might step on each other, but it's a different buyer. So I've taken the GR86 and I've made a 4-door Lexus product and a 4-door Lotus product, all from one car from the next gen.
I love product planning for cars. I love it.
We're insane, but we're having fun. So there's what I did with the GR86 for 2 brands at once. Moving on, Mazda, just make the Ioniq already.
Yes.
Just make the Ioniq and put the straight 6 in it and call it a product. It needs to be above the MX-5. Basically, Mazda just needs a product above the MX-5 with the straight 6 in it, with a long nose and a great, gorgeous styling. Mazda knows how to do styling well. This Ioniq is fantastic. We get away from the RX, which you already mentioned. We get away from that. It doesn't need to be a rotary. Why did Mazda make a straight 6 engine? I have to hit on this one last time. Toyota, when they decided to bring back the Supra, Toyota is one of the largest car makers on the planet.
Yeah.
And Toyota came to the conclusion, with a lot of accounting, I'm sure, we cannot afford to make a straight 6 engine. Mazda, one of the smallest car makers on the planet, some day after a bad lunch decided, you know what we should do? Straight 6 engine. And they made a straight 6 engine for their SUV.
Who knows?
Yes. But my point is, what is Mazda doing that Toyota hasn't figured out? They have that great straight 6 engine. It's dying to be in a rear-wheel drive biased vehicle. Make this fantastic looking car above the MX-5. The MX-5 maxes out at roughly 40, 45. This starts at 40 and goes to 60.
More luxurious. I mean, you and I are in alignment. This is what I envision for RX.
Exactly what needs to happen. Yes.
It's this.
It's going to be a little bit bigger than a GR86. It's going to have that long straight 6 in the front. This is where Mazda needs to be.
I will figure out a way to buy one.
I am all about this. I totally agree. To our friends at Mini, they need to remember.
What is that thing?
That is an AI creation concept. Yes. Mini needs to remember that their name is small. They make small cars.
Yes.
As they continue to blend with BMW, the cars are getting worse. Okay? They're just getting worse. Mini needs to make a 2-door smaller than they're making so far. Now, they are holding the line with the Cooper as a 2-door.
Yeah.
But they need to actually move back to a small car. This needs to be on the same chassis as the new Ford Fiesta. This is how you make them both justified. And again, the Fiesta is the low model, price-wise, and the Mini is the higher model. The Fiesta goes from the 20s to the 30s. The Mini goes from the mid-30s to the mid-40s. That's a way both brands can bring back a brand new, smaller chassis that's front-wheel drive, 2-door hatch. It's the Fiesta on the low end. It's the Mini on the high end. Combine their thinking, small car, genuinely small. I'm talking like 2,700 pounds is the tops.
It's in the name.
It's in the name. There should be no large car called Mini. No, it shouldn't happen. It should be outlawed somehow.
Mini XL. No.
Yes, no, stop it. If you've seen a new Countryman, they're just an SUV now.
Yes.
That's an SUV. I don't care what the brand says.
Treated it as
irrelevant.
a brand and they forgot what the name means.
So get with Ford. New Fiesta ST for Ford, new Mini Cooper for Mini that is genuinely small, front-wheel drive, and fun. That's where I'm going for Mini. And my last one, of course, we reached Mitsubishi. We got to bring the Lancer back.
Yeah, we do.
The Lancer needs to come out. Again, I'm going to say the same kind of things that were going on over in Centraland, where you can make a mid-20s car now that doesn't feel really low rent. And then you make an actual Evo. Now, this needs to be for the Evolution, the Evolution 11, I guess. It needs to be all-wheel drive, hybrid DCT. Because as much as I love the Evo, and I do, it's one of my all-time favorites, the reason you drive an Evo is not because it's manual. You drive an Evo because you cannot believe the tiny little package and how well it handles and scrabbles through everything, and it's fun going 10 miles an hour. So that has to do with the way the all-wheel drive works. It has to do with how the steering works. It has to do with the wheelbase. Anytime I drove an Evo with the 5-speed manual, I like a manual, but there was nothing about that manual. I was like, thank God this has a manual. Anytime I drove with the DCT, I was like, this is every bit as fun. And in fact, I sometimes argued that the DCT was more fun because it had a 6th gear, which meant it quieted down on the highway. And you weren't running like 4,500 RPM. So the brilliance of the Evo is not the manual. It's everything it does in the running gear. So let's make an all-wheel drive, hybridized, new Lancer Evo. And that brings people back to that brand. And I'm done. I'm out.
Screenwriters are turning to old scripts again, and they rename the movie the same thing with the new date after the title.
If you really want to
remade the thing.
If you really want to freak yourself out, look up the recent movie that Bradley Cooper did called A Star Is Born and figure out they've done it about every 20 years. They just keep redoing it. It's the same premise. We're just going to do it again because this generation hasn't seen it.
This version, the Thomas Crown Affair.
Yep. 1960s and early 2000s. Yes.
Steve McQueen.
Very good. Very good. Yes.
Pierce Brosnan in the, and they just put the new date after. It's the same. We just remade it to make more money.
Yep.
But this is justified. Absolutely. But we have a pact to make as enthusiasts.
Okay.
If we do this, we have to buy them.
We have to spend the money.
If they were to do any of these, we have to buy them. We have to stop buying Silver Egg 5-seat SUVs.
We're going to keep buying those, but we have to buy the sports car in addition. Here's the thing. Next time we'll do N through the end of the alphabet. We'll do a bunch more, so this will probably go over time then as well, but we're having fun with it. We're dreaming here, but we're trying to dream and product plan, which is one of the things that we simultaneously are great at and terrible at. So we love doing it. We'll keep doing it. That's what that's about. Griot's Garage is our official car care partner and one of our very first sponsors for the show. They don't just make great car care products, they want you to get out and drive your car.
Griot's is a family-owned company, and they've been a part of every one of our road trips. We always take speed shine on every shoot, helping us spot clean cars at a moment's notice.
Their foaming glass cleaner is the quickest and best way we've ever found to get windows clean before a big day of driving. And they're always releasing new and improved products like their updated Wash Bucket 2.
Plus, all of Griot's liquid products are 100% guaranteed and made right here in the USA. The Griot's people are always happy to answer any questions to make sure you get the right product and the right results.
So get the best quality car care products out there from a company that has always supported this show. Our audience can always get at least 10% off by using the code DRIVER10 at griotsgarage.com.
Hooked on Driving updates for late September, early October 2025. A reminder for Friday, September 26th at Sonoma Raceway. We've got Motorsport Park, Hastings, Nebraska coming up Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. Then moving on to Ridge Motorsports Park, Friday, September 26th, Saturday, September 27th.
Wherever you are in the country,
you can get to one of these tracks.
This weekend.
Yes,
true. This coming weekend. Welcome to
true.
Tuesday. This coming Friday and weekend. Those 3 tracks are all running. It's great.
Moving into some early dates for October, so you got them on your radar, so you can put them on your calendar. Portland International Raceway is Saturday, October 4. The Northeast region big event at Watkins Glen is coming up Friday, October 10th through Sunday, October 12th. This is going to be a fantastic event.
Yep.
We were there last year for this event, and we're going again. We are planning on being there, so if you are coming, come out and see us.
Yeah, come say hi. It'd be really cool. It's going to be a huge event. Look, it's not just a track day. They're doing drifting. They've got a band coming. I mean, they're making it very family friendly and broader than just a track day. Watkins Glen is involved in it. I think they're doing a car show as well, if memory serves.
Big event.
We're excited to be there. That is a huge blowout for the fall event for our Northeast franchise of Hooked on Driving. You have to be there October 10th through 12th. Here's the thing. If you're considering running Watkins Glen in the fall, this is your event.
This event. Come on out. We'll introduce you to Santi and Cody. They run the Northeast region.
Yep.
They're doing an incredible job, and they've got even more plans for 2026. But come out and meet these guys. See what's going on at Hooked on Driving event. Get your car on track. HookedOnDriving.com for a track day near you.
So here on the Car Debate, we cover everything we can think of as far as kinds of cars, kinds of budgets, and situations. And Sal's writing in with one that doesn't happen often but is super fun, and that is the fourth car. Doesn't need a commute car, doesn't need it to really do much, but be the fourth car.
Who says that? I need a fourth car.
Sal does, apparently. He has a 2024 Honda Civic Type R, so the current Type R that we all love. So he can do track day. He can do dropping off his two oldest girls. I mean, this car does everything. He loves it. One of his favorite cars ever. He says it's the greatest driver's car he's owned in his history, and it can do so many things, and it's fun at the limit. Back roads, track days. He loves the thing. He's getting winter tires for it. Bravo, man, to run it in Minnesota winters. So I am so excited for you that you have this car. But they do have an SUV, because of course they do. The 2022 Toyota Highlander Platinum, they have that as well. That is one of their cars. But wait, where does the third car come from? That is his wife. I cannot believe the sentence I read here. That is his wife's 2020 Porsche 718 Cayman S with PDK and all of the options.
Nice.
This was
nice.
I'm envisioning this. The writer in me is envisioning this. This was her, hear me now, her push present for their third child. Are you really telling me, Sal, you and your wife who is now listening, are you really telling me she's uncomfortable in a hospital gown with a bunch of people standing around her, probably hates you in this moment, in a lot of pain, trying to give birth to your third child, and you said to her, I'll get you a push present of a Porsche in that moment? Did that happen then? Because I'm not sure that's the right time to do that.
But it worked.
It worked.
They've got kid number 3.
They have kid number 3 and Porsche Racing Yellow. Oh, my gosh.
The Cayman. Oh, my gosh. Fantastic. Well done. Well, he says he's got 2 amazing cars, and this has spoiled him in ways, as you may imagine, with modern sports cars. But he says this has got him feeling a sense of lacking in terms of feel. He wouldn't say sterile, but both cars, he writes, hide certain feelings from you in different ways from a driving perspective.
I actually agree with that. You've bought... Think about it. The Civic Type R and the current 718 Cayman are both brilliant.
Yeah.
But if you compare them to analog cars of just the 80s, let's just go there, 80s, early 90s, there is some stuff lost, some stuff that you're not getting, even though both of those cars are brilliant. Yeah, I get it.
Well, Sal also writes that he's driven many top-end Porsche cars, so he's sure that's ruined him as well, like a 992 Carrera T and a 981 GT4. The current plan is to keep all of the current lineup because they work and they're in love with all of their cars.
Okay.
Now, Sal's history includes his first car being a 2013 Subaru BRZ, his first cool car out of college. He only drove on cool curvy roads and taught him what a driver's car should feel like. He moved to a bigger city, got a 2012 Honda Civic Si, which made him fall in love with Honda, and naturally aspirated engines with a K24. After COVID, he had too much time on our hands, so he sold the Civic Si, bought a 2011 WRX SCI
this was his
hatchback,
COVID project, yes.
And spent a bunch of money. We'll just say that. Parts, modifications, big turbo, all the stuff. But what this all brings him to, they love their car lineup, the 3-car lineup.
They need a fourth car.
They're looking for the fourth car that Sal can leave in the driveway, that he doesn't have to worry about or care about or be precious with during the summers, that has more of the raw feeling that he's missing.
The concept here is he's actually looking for a car to play with. The concept here is buy it, have it for the whole summer, park it in the driveway, take it to anywhere and park it and not worry about it, and then maybe even sell it at the end of the summer. This is a play car to try to do the thing that other cars can't do, which is be brilliant, be modern, be well cared for. Now, not that he wants to trash this car, but the concept is, where's that raw feeling I don't have? And he's aware enough that he's going to spend a little bit of money on it, hopefully get rid of it down the line, because it's just an experiential play. It's not a fourth long-term car. It's a car that does what I don't have. Very interesting. He has things listed right here. He's got a 987 Porsche Boxster base manual. He said he wonders if this might actually step on the toes of his wife's Cayman and be too similar, but he knows that's the more analog version. What about old BMWs? E36 Coupe, E46 convertible. He's always kind of loved these in the M-car form. So maybe that's the right answer, but he's worried about maintenance and modification history on the one he'd buy or the one he'd try to keep. That's concerning. Or he goes old school with his Honda love and goes Acura Integra GSR. He says it's a throwback, but he has that Acura Honda love. What about some old school naturally aspirated VTEC? What about that in the driveway? What are our suggestions for, essentially, this is how I titled it, his raw summer-only car?
Sal, I have an answer.
Okay, good.
This is your cheap summer beater.
Yep.
Your summer vacation cottage by the lake.
There you go. I like it.
You don't have to worry if bird crap gets on it. You don't have to worry about even washing it the entire time. I can't believe I just said
Please
that out
don't
loud.
do that. That Paul would not justify that at all.
I would not justify that. But if you own this...
get charged extra for that.
If you own this... Z3, cheap to run. They just run well under your $20,000 budget.
Yeah, true.
Easy.
True, yeah.
Easy money for this. Go get yourself a fun Z4. Sorry, I said Z3. I meant to say Z4 too because you identified these on a couple podcast episodes ago. These Z4s were slept on and
Yes,
they're
they
all
are.
under 20 grand
Yep.
and they're good looking, fun to drive, interesting, fun, great sports cars. They're luxurious. I think you should go get a Z3 or a Z4. What are you looking for? Z3 is a little bit smaller, I think, Miata size, but fun, chuckable, great. Z4 is a little bit more luxurious. You can park them on the street. You can leave the keys in them. And just,
Don't just park it on the street. Leave the keys in it and see if anybody
Just
wants it, because they
easy
probably won't.
access.
That's really funny, yeah.
of course, GT86 is on my list, as is GR86. Maybe be pushing on your budget a little bit for a GR86, but absolutely worth it. I think you should definitely
I think
consider
it's
one of
worth it too,
these.
yeah.
And my outlier, since it's so completely different, the Abarth version of the Fiat 124 Spider,
Okay, so the
Different
the
styling.
Italian Miata, the Fiata.
because I think these are cheaper.
They
Nobody
are.
really wanted these.
Nobody thinks about them, yeah.
Go get one of these.
Mhm.
It's actually
good. I
a
like
different engine, turboed, great fun to drive, Miata, but different styling. And like I said, I bet you could pick one of these up a little bit cheaper because everybody seems to want the Miata, the MX-5.
Yep.
Go get yourself one of these. It's cool, interesting styling. It's just the now car.
Yeah.
The,
That's the key
right
thing.
now car.
It's buy it, have it for maybe a year.
Yeah.
And it's the fourth car to get a different experience. That's the key thing that I really settled on here, Sal, is that you're looking for that raw summer car. And I don't want to say disposable car, but the concept here is there's no reason to be precious. You want to have it for a time period, get a different experience out of it. I decided on the perfect car for you, except that I really blew the budget. That was the problem with me. And that is to really, really do this correctly. The answer is a Caterham. He wants a raw car, unlike anything he's got, and the answer is a Caterham. Now, the problem is there's not very many Caterhams in the U.S. So when I looked on Auto Tempest today, they were all over 50 grand. You can get
Love the
Caterhams
thought, though.
in all kinds of different engine choices. What I find fascinating, because we don't get them all here in the U.S., but what I find fascinating is any time that all of the automotive journalists in Europe drive a Caterham, the British especially, they always end up driving multiple on the same day. They drive the super high power one, and they drive the one with like the average amount of horsepower of an iron. I mean, nothing.
It's got like
Nothing.
bicycle tires.
Seriously,
on it.
bicycle tires and couldn't even run your generator kind of engine, okay?
Yeah.
And almost across the board, they like the low power one more because they're foot to the floor, sliding around corners. You and I have driven one of the very high power ones. It was like 350 horsepower or whatever. Cool.
Frightening.
Didn't need that much power. Still very cool. But my point is, this is your answer. You want raw summer car. Don't have to worry about Caterham.
Well, if you want to park
But-
it on the street, just take the steering wheel with you. Security defeat device.
That's perfect.
Just take the
The
steering
problem
wheel.
is it's above your budget. So I can't go here. But this is really the one I think is perfect. So I went here, the MR2 Spider.
That's
These are
cheap, chuckable
10
beater.
grand for the nicest one in the country. Okay? It drives totally different than what you've got, but it's still related. This is proper mid-engine handling. This is gonna run. There's nothing precious about this car. And they're all out there well under your budget. Get the manual transmission. The automatic is terrible. The interior is not that great. But this is also one of those cars that nobody's offended by this and nobody wants to do anything aggressive. It's just car. It's super fun. This is absolutely fundamental, fun car you don't need to worry about. The MR2 Spider, they're out there. Look at one very seriously. The later models are a little bit better if you can get one, but you can. With your budget, $20,000, you can get the nicest one on the planet. But I gave it a lot of thought. And I went looking, Sal, considering your backstory, because you are a Honda guy. You're a Honda fanboy. You want a different experience, and let's review it. Your Civic Type R, your Boxster, and your Highlander. You want a different experience that's more raw. I can't believe it, but with $20,000, especially since you want to actually buy it and then sell it again later, you need a Honda S2000 first gen, the AP1, before they revised it. I looked it up on Auto Tempest right now.
Can you get them under 20?
Here's the crazy thing. The AP1s between 75 and 150,000 miles are on either side of $20,000 all day
Are they really?
So since you're buying a car you're going to have for maybe a year, you don't want to be precious. You want to buy it, drive it for a little while, and sell it again. This is going to resell too.
True.
People are going to want these.
The 8-month car.
Seriously. So I think
this is where you get low.
I was surprised, but it's AP1s with high miles. That's the key. So roughly,
still,
but again,
S2000.
you're going to buy. Look, you're going to buy a 100,000-mile S2000, and at the end of the summer, it's going to have what, 120,000 on it? How much are you going to really drive this thing? You buy it at 90,000, and you break 100 while you own it. Who cares? Okay, S2000 gives you your natural feel, your VTEC, your different experience of manual transmission. I mean, it's still an electronic power steering, so you don't gain anything there. But this is a much more classic feel than the stuff you own, and it gets you that Honda VTEC stuff that you want. Imagine the driveway. Civic Type R, Honda S2000, and brand new Cayman. That is a fantastic garage, and Sal, I'm out there because I think I'm done.
You did really well. Sal, thank you for writing to us. If you've got a debate like Sal's and you need a fourth car, fifth car.
By the way, if you need a first car, we do that too. Yeah, we do it all.
We could just replace the car you have.
We can, for sure, yeah.
But if you need a 7th car, or everydaydrivertv@gmail.com.
We're having another long podcast because we're just enjoying ourselves. We hope you guys are as well. That means we're probably not going to do car conclusions again, but we will come back to them when we have a shorter topic Tuesday. I swear that's going to happen. But EJ is writing to us from Sacramento. He's feeling pressure for a minivan.
He tweeted to us back in 2021 when his son Teddy was born. They were watching the Evora versus M2 video a few hours after his son was born.
I do remember that. If memory serves, I remember asking you, does your wife need anything? Because it was like she'd just given birth. He's like, I'm watching this right now. My son's been born like 15 minutes. I was like, where's your wife?
Don't know what else to do.
Does she need something right now? But make sure she's taken care of. Anyway, yeah.
Well, his son is 3.5 now. Their fleet includes a paid-off Mark 7.5 GTI with the DSG.
Love it.
2017 Outback, and a manual ND3 Miata with the BBR package. That's
Love
fantastic.
That's
ND3.
really good.
All of their friends have a second kid or one on the way.
Okay.
Second on the way.
Yep.
2 of them have a Sienna, and they're feeling pressured to buy a minivan or an SUV.
Okay.
What EJ wants is a wagon with a 3rd row.
Yep.
But it doesn't look like the new V60 Polestar, V90, RS6 Avant, M5 Touring, and the new E-Class wagons have an optional 3rd row. Like, none of them. He says with the grandparents in town often, seating 5 in the GTI and the Outback is a little snug for trips longer than 60 to 90 minutes. I'm surprised you last 10.
I'm surprised that 60 to 90 minutes was the end of that sentence as well. I agree, yeah.
He says he could go back 5 years and have a budget of up to $100,000.
Okay.
Technically up to $120,000 or $130,000 if they're looking at an RS6 Avant. I'm so glad we pushed on the budget. I mean, you already knew I was going to, and
of course, yeah.
You did it for me, so that's
yeah.
great. He enjoys tinkering on cars. He'll probably have to sell the GTI or the Outback because a new wagon would make one, if not both, redundant. But he wants to have a 3rd car when the family visits. He is also acutely aware that what they could do is just rent a minivan as needed for those 5 or more people family visits.
Mm-hmm.
But he's really interested in the 3rd row wagon options.
Okay. I've got some stuff here for sure.
I have many things as well. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Most of these are SUVs.
Okay.
Because very few manufacturers make current modern wagons with a 3rd row, just like you just named all of those.
He identified the problem for sure,
They
yes.
really don't exist. So I'm going to get you as close as I possibly can, and I think I have your winner, and I think you're going to not mind I think you're going to be really
okay.
excited.
All right, good.
Starting with the Kia Telluride. They're not $100,000 even new. You could buy 2 Tellurides for this price.
You could actually, yes.
Moving on to the new Santa Fe.
Oof.
Palisade was on my list, but I chose Santa Fe mainly because you get those cool Vanagon rear lights. It's an acquired taste.
Actually defending the Santa Fe because I just can't justify it for anybody.
Only because of its usefulness, and that's it.
It is useful, and it comes
just
in
cover
hybrid.
your eyes as you
I
get
agree
into
with
the
that.
car.
Yes, just It is what a box is. Yes.
Let's just say I'm acknowledging its presence.
Okay, there. I like that. That's
it's
good.
on the
Very
market
good. Yep.
because I didn't want you to say, well, did you know the Santa Fe has 3 rows? I'm like,
and
yes.
it's hybrid, and yes,
I know. It gets good gas mileage.
It does, yes.
And it's useful.
And I talked about it before. It's the car that doesn't bother you. It's just you're just driving. Yeah.
Moving right along to the Genesis GV80.
Like it.
This is a cool car. It is beautiful.
It is, yes.
Easy under your budget. Easy. You could almost get 2 of these for your budget. But Genesis GV80, find it in that nice green, beautiful green.
Like it.
And I think you would really like these. The back seats, the third row is not huge. So maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes they'll last. People will last back there. Maybe not 60 to 90.
They're doing 60 to 90 in the back of a GTI. I think they could go cross country in the Genesis bike.
Shut up and we'll be there soon.
I don't know what we're doing. Yeah, there's some conversation going on there.
You know, if we're going to spend $100,000,
okay.
If we're going to spend 120 or 130,
yeah,
let's get something with space. Let's get something with power. Let's get something with presence. An Escalade V. It starts in sport mode.
All of the above.
It's angry. It's fast. You will giggle because of the exhaust cackle. You'll turn into a child.
It's fantastically unnecessary is really what it is.
Which is the whole reason I'm suggesting
I understand. I get that, yeah.
But what is necessary is the GLS 63 because third row, it's an SUV. Lots of power.
They drive very well.
It doesn't drive like an SUV, and that's why I'm recommending it.
I agree with that, yep.
So you could consider even slightly used GLS 63. These are superb, fully loaded. You won't believe that this does the things that it does. Okay. But the final car, this is the one, EJ. This is it. I don't think you're ready. MDX Type S. MDX Type S. It's not a van.
Yep.
It's got an excellent third row. The engine, the 3-liter, is superb. Lots of power. Brand new, they were $73,000. Yep. Again, you could almost buy 2 of these used for what your budget is, but you will still feel like you're getting your money's worth. So I'm saving you money. Awesome to drive. Gobs of power. Third row. Not a minivan. And your neighbors will be like, huh. Maybe we need to get an MDX Type S.
Not only do I agree with you, I agree with you so much, it's on my list as well.
Awesome.
It was actually the place that I landed. So you've already landed in the right place.
Awesome.
I want to say this to you as well. EJ, this is surprisingly good to drive. We talked about it on our review. It's almost as good to drive as some of the performance versions of the Cayenne, but the difference here is it does have a third row.
Yes.
So this is a genuinely good to drive SUV, again, below your budget. I think you nailed it with the Type S.
I think that's the car. That's the
one.
one.
I think if you're going to break into SUVs, I think this is the way to go. But I have a couple other things I do want to talk to you about, and that is I do want to show you, believe it or not, I had to see the photo for myself. The E-Class sedan used has a third row seat that's halfway decent.
Or wagon, E-Class wagon, right?
Yes, the wagon. Sorry, the wagon has a halfway decent looking children only rear seat.
Well, that's not bad actually.
So you could do that. Just get a used model. Now, I do want to acknowledge the elephant in the room for a moment, and that is you could just rent the van. I mean, look, how often are the in-laws or your parents coming? If it's twice a year, rent the van. If you like your current, here's the question. I don't know how much you like your current stable. If you like your current stable, I'm fine with this. Then the financial reality is you rent the van you don't have to worry about. You rent it from the rental counter, not Turo, rental counter.
Yeah.
Rental counter van, drive it for a week. You don't have to like it. You don't have to return it nice. It's just van. If you really are looking for a bang around for the family for the time that they come in, that is the answer. You don't have to own a minivan. You rented it, and you don't have to worry about it. Your neighbors with the Siennas, they got to pay insurance. They got to put gas in it. They got to make sure that it runs, take it to the dealer, and oh my gosh, the kids threw up in it again. None of that matters for you. You rented a van, you turned it back in. What's that smell? Don't care.
I guarantee you it's going to be a Pacifica, though.
It will.
It's just going to be a
Pacifica. That's where they all got sold.
Will.
So, van is still the financial and stress decision. It's still rent the van. Yeah. But This is what the E-Class looks
This is
like,
good,
which is
though.
pretty
This
cool.
is good.
But you know what I think might be the answer? Because you can probably get them cheap, and for your usage, it might be perfect, and that is an early Tesla Model S. They have a rear-facing, children-only third row that folds up out of the back. The first one we ever drove had this.
I have a picture of you squishing yourself into the back of this, trying to film somewhere.
Well, and we have a whole joke in our original Model S piece where we actually closed it with me sitting in it.
Yeah.
And I had to hunker because it was not designed for me.
You were not happy.
Yes, true. But we actually, when we first ever drove one of these, it was owned by a family of 7.
That's right.
And we have a shot of the entire family getting out of this vehicle and watching all the doors close automatically behind it.
That's
my
the clown
thinking
car.
here is, yes, you could get one of these used, and it becomes the third car you only use in specific situations. The Tesla charging network is excellent. The places you're going to go with people are probably going to be fine for charging.
Yeah, used, these are still great.
Yeah, the way this works, I think, is perfect for you, and I think you can find a much better deal on one of these than you could the E-Class, and it becomes, it'll be good at exactly what you need it to be good for. So that is kind of my wild card, but also kind of my favorite if you don't go where you went, Paul, and that is the answer might just be MDX Type S.
It's an SUV, whereas I like this because it's not. It's deliberately
this
not.
really gets it done.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. And I have to say, go watch our original. It's like 10 years old now. Watch our original Model S review. We were genuinely impressed with the fact that they did this at all, and it does work. So I think used Tesla Model S, which is probably going to be not even half your budget for a used one, with the third row seat, and call it a day.
Everyday Driver TV at gmail.com. Topic Tuesdays, car conclusions, fourth car debates, fifth car
First
debates,
car debates, fourth car debates,
all the debates.
Filling your garage. We will get back to car conclusions, but we have run long yet again, and we're loving it. We should run some audience questions, though. One of these is a Topic Tuesday. You see Kyle's question, lightning round, most fun car under 5K, 10K, 20K, 50K, and 100K.
Oh my gosh,
but
I'm looking
then
now.
he says, no Miatas, no GR86s, no Porsches. That's a Topic Tuesday right there,
That
Kyle.
is a Topic
Tuesday. We will
Tuesday.
have to come back on that. I like that a lot. Jared says, were there any cars on Tail of the Dragon that in hindsight we wish we could have driven or done a piece on? There was a 1980s, early 90s, that white Thunderbird. One of our people on Discord had it. It's a 90s Thunderbird that has been retrofit with all Mustang parts. And he kept rumbling up and down the Dragon, and I was kind of intrigued by that car.
Right.
I was enjoying driving my own car on the Dragon, but I kind of
yeah.
kept thinking, if we had more time, I would have loved to have driven that because it sounded awesome. It was atypical. That would have been very fun to actually hoon up and down the Dragon. That was actually one for sure. And then, honestly, the folks with Miatas, that would have been cool. I would have done a Miata up and down the Dragon with the top down. That would have been actually really cool.
That would have been fun.
Yeah.
You're right. The Bruce B on Instagram says, for SoCal traffic, which cars have the best interiors, comfortable seats, and easy-to-use infotainment? Man, I just want to be in a Mercedes AMG. I mean, you didn't give me a budget in here. There was just
fair point.
Which cars have the best interiors?
There you
Mercedes AMG, whatever. I don't care. And the interior is easy to use, and it's just comfortable, and the scent with the stuff and the cooling and the stuff, and you just want to be there.
Okay.
It's
All
lovely,
right.
lovely place to be.
You know what? Another one in that category, depending upon, are you being driven? What's going on? You know what? The Genesis G90, we really liked the interior in that.
That's great. Yes, Genesis
That's
G90.
a fantastic place
Absolutely.
to be, and you can actually save some money off the Mercedes. Also really good.
Bella B 1029 says, hey guys, submitting for the Have You Seen This Car section. A few days ago, Bella saw an early 2000s Subaru Outback sedan.
Whoa. I'm a little, okay, now that I think about it, I remember what that looked like. And it looked a little high riding. It was like the Subarus that really looked high riding. Yeah.
That's right.
A little ways back. Those were always ungainly because they felt like they were up on their tiptoes. Yeah.
And then they took that for inspiration for the new WRX.
Of course they did. Yeah, that works well as well. Dammy actually asked last time, he said in our discussion of the $50,000 GT cars, is there a reason we passed over the Jaguar XKR and picked the Type F instead? He thinks the XKR is much more of a GT car. What Dammy doesn't say, and if my memory serves, is I'm pretty sure Dammy owns a Jaguar XKR.
I think you're right.
Which is why he brought it up.
Right.
So first off, Dammy, I'm really glad you like your car, and that's very cool. The reason I didn't pick the XKR instead is because I personally prefer the look, the dynamic and weight and the interior of the F-Type over the XKR. But the F-Type is actually more expensive than the FKR in many cases used, and the XKR is a steal of a used buy. If you have one that's running well and you like it, and I'm pretty sure you do, I think it's a great car. I just prefer the F-Type.
On Instagram, Mystic Negro George has said, no one has disagreed that the Camaro V6 1LE is the best E46 M3 that you can buy. The Miata is universally considered the best British roadster, unless you're tall, and the Chevy SS makes a strong case as the best ever E39 M5.
Okay.
What are other cars that are the best version of completely unrelated cars? You've always said the Supra is the best car BMW builds, which I've always found hilarious.
Yes, I think right now it's the best BMW on the market is the Supra.
Absolutely.
I fully agree with that.
Well, George, you could also make a case for, say, a Veloster N being the poor man's Civic Type R. I mean, I think that's
interesting. Possibly the Elantra N definitely.
Or sorry, the Elantra N. Yeah.
The Elantra N definitely
as
is
the Civic Type
the
R.
alt. Yeah, I see
think
that.
that's absolutely possible.
Travis asks, what's the best next car after the GR86? Needs to be light and playful with a manual transmission. He loves the GR86. Favorite car he's ever owned, but of course we all have the disease. What's next? Travis, if you're going to go from GR86, I think where you have to go next is probably C7 or C6 Corvette. It's the idea writ large. You've got similar dynamics, similar actual space, etc., just a little bit larger, and the idea of all of your learning in the GR86, all that translates to those Corvettes. I think that's the next step up.
Last question from me on Facebook. Gregory Tolson says he's curious our thoughts on the six-pack Charger Daytona. Do we think this car will ever be a steal in the used market? I think it already is, isn't it? When Hemi enthusiasts crater the resale value, do we believe the car will be an amazing value since it's got 420 horsepower in the lower output, 550 in the Scat Pack, and a straight six? Will this be an amazing value in comparison to, say, a BMW 340 or 440i or S4, S5 Audi? Or will the weight of the Charger Daytona be a significant problem? I think you've hit on that, Gregory. I think the weight, it's so big. The form factor itself, just the proportions of the car, the footprint is so much bigger than the other cars you said.
They are large.
And that will absolutely affect it. It's almost unrelated to power output. And the market is really not embraced these cars. I feel like Dodge just went too far. The new platform and trying to do both. Maybe. And now they're trying to resurrect it. And hey, we put the 6-cylinder in, and really please don't go. Please come back.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what people's take is on that, and if they like it better, and if people start circling back or not. I'm fascinated to drive one for sure.
I think because they had plans, Stellantis had plans for this platform for Alpha and others, and buyers did not line up for this. That's why we haven't seen anything new, like a new Giulia from Alpha anytime soon, but that would be way too big.
Way too big.
Any other cars, I think they were trying things and it didn't really work out for them, and they're trying to resurrect it, but I don't think that's a good thing because it's not just a parts car. It's just we started in the wrong direction. We started going down the wrong path. You know what it is?
It's that you started the huge floor of dominoes, and it's one of the starter ones just fails, and the whole rest thing's sitting there in anticipation and isn't going to go. It's that. Ooh. It's the domino that didn't fall, and now what do we do? Yeah. Ooh. Anyway.
Guys, thank you for all your questions. We really appreciate it. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
We are on Spotify audio, Spotify video, and hopefully you're also watching this on YouTube, our main YouTube channel. Really appreciate you watching. Thank you for your questions. Keep bringing your excellent ideas for topics. We're going to definitely cover N through Z.
Yeah.
A lot more coming.
Yep.
And we're looking forward to next time too. Cheers, everyone.